Hey, folks, here we are. We're live. We made it. Thank you for joining me in the horror corner. Now, bear with me, folks. This is the first time I've ever done this live stream thing. We're going to have a blast here talking about some horror and some sci fi, whatever you guys want to talk about. I also love to talk about superhero movies, heavy metal, all kinds of stuff. So if you guys want to get in on the chat here. All right. Adam Turner, what's up? We finally made it. I know I did a little test earlier there. Sorry I had to stay up a little later, but I'm here. Well, you never know who might show up in the chat room here today. Invited some people. Let's see if they show up. Who knows? It'll be fun. Either way, I love horror and I am very passionate about it, and I could sit and talk about it for hours. That's why I started my horror channel, so I can chat with you dudes, lords and ladies, of course. So, Adam Turner asks, "What do you think the plot for the new Halloween will be?" It's hard to tell on that. Uh, I kind of think it's gonna be a real retro type thing, like it's gonna be like a reunion movie where they brought Nick Castle back into it and Jamie Lee Curtis, of course. Um, I kind of think it's going to be something along the lines of. I know it has to be a little bit different than H2O was, but I think there will be some similarity to that. Some people might disagree with that, but who knows? We don't know anything about the plot at this point. We know that it's going to follow the original Halloween directly, only the 1978 film, not any of the others, not the original Halloween 2 or 4 or 5, obviously not 3. And they know, we do know that they are going to tweak the original ending a little bit. So something's going to happen where right after Michael Myers gets shot and 6 times and gets thrown off the balcony. What happens from there, we don't know. I have heard that they were going to be apprehending Michael Myers, as Adam Turner just said. Um, oh, you got your buddy coming over? Cool. But yeah, I did hear that too, Adam, that he's going to be apprehended in this new film, which comes out on October 19th, 2018, folks. This year, not next year. This year, it's happening. So I'm really freaking excited about it. I cannot wait. Um, so yeah, another thing I wanted to say about that, I think that is so cool that Nick Castle is coming back, even though he's 70 years old. I still think like he's going to bring a lot of that original flavor to the character of Michael Myers. What do you guys think? And also there's another guy doing the stunt double for him. So if any physical stuff required, the stunt double will handle it. Um, so Nick Castle can still do a lot of stuff, a lot of that original flavor he brought to the 1978 film. So it's gonna be awesome, folks. And I love. Tell me, how excited were you guys when you saw the those promo pics of Jamie Lee Curtis dressed like Laurie Strode with the long hair and a blue shirt, just like the original film? And one of them, she's holding a shotgun. I'm like, ooh, Laurie means business this time. She's gonna kick some. She's gonna kick Michael's ass. You may blow him the kingdom come this time. Um, yeah, I think I also kind of think this could be the last one, guys. This could be the last ever Halloween. I kind of get that feeling here because we know I highly doubt Jamie Lee Curtis will do another one. I highly doubt Nick Castle will do another one. But you never know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm sure if it's a smash hit like one of the Saw movies or Don't Breathe or one of these big horror movies like Get Out, yeah, never. If it's that big, I can imagine there's going to be a sequel. Um, Adam Turner says, I think Laurie dies in this one. Um, yeah, I get that feeling too, man. I don't think she's coming back after this one, that's for sure. I don't care how much money they pay her. I think this it. I think she's done with Halloween after this one. By the way, guys, check out my sign, the Horror Corner. Welcome. I meant to do that before. You know what's funny, guys, is I've never even used the webcam on my laptop. That's how not used to this I am. So bear with me, folks. Yeah, Adam, I know you don't want it to die, but I would bet on it at this point. I think it's funny though that she died in Resurrection, but she's still coming back. But Resurrection doesn't matter anymore. Some people would say that's probably a good thing. It's Resurrection, yeah, they really dropped the ball on that one. Just want to say, guys, I did something real cool this week that you guys might find interesting. It's not a horror movie thing per se, although it kind of is, but it's kind of a fact-based horror incident. I was cruising around Fall River, Massachusetts, and it came to me suddenly, wow, Fall River, Massachusetts. I remembered something very interesting happened there, and that is Lizzie Borden, the murders of her stepmother and father, Andrew Borden. So yeah, guys, I visited the house that the murders took place in, where Lizzie was born, and where she allegedly committed those crimes. Check this out. I have the bobblehead that I got there. Lizzie Borden. Check that out. I can't remember how the song goes. Something about she gave her mother 40 whacks and gave her father 40 more, or something like that. It's a classic, like a nursery rhyme. Um, yeah, but they had all kinds of crime scene photos there. They showed the father's body all bloody, like bashed in from the hatchet. Oof, it's rough. Do you guys think that she did it? Certainly, all evidence points to that fact, but they didn't have any. They didn't have too much in the way of hard evidence, though. They didn't have. It's not like today where they had the DNA evidence, and you get a strand of hair and find out right away what happened. All right, Shelia Overbay just joined the chat. How you doing, Shelia? Oh, Adam Tunis says I think she did it. Yeah, most people would say she did, but it's really interesting. Here's another thing I'll show you that I thought was cool. Got the movie too, the original movie from television called The Legend of Lizzie Borden. Uh, Lizzie was played in the film by Elizabeth Montgomery. How about that, from Bewitched fame? And I thought she did an amazing job in that film. So if you guys ever catch that, I know it's kind of tough to find, but you guys should really check that movie out. It's excellent, and it's the most historically accurate version made so far. I know they made one with Christina Ricci there. There's another one coming with Chloe Sevigny in the role, which was another thing. When I went to the house, they had a picture of Chloe Sevigny on the wall of her sitting in the couch where the murder took place. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, one of the ladies, like the tour guide there, said that the Legend of Lizzie Borden movie with Elizabeth Montgomery was the most accurate version. So it's pretty accurate. Okay, Shelia Overby, are you excited for the new Halloween movie? Yeah, we were talking about that at the beginning of the show. Yeah, I'm extremely excited for that, Shelia. I can't wait, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I was a little distressed that they are not including Halloween 2 as canon because that's my favorite horror sequel ever made. So for me to kind of just forget that ever happened is real tough for me. But I got over it. I'm still excited, and I think they're gonna do a great job. The people involved. Uh, you got, uh, you got, you got. Trying to think of the name. David Gordon Green directing, and you got the Danny McBride writing. You got John Carpenter coming back. How can you go wrong? You got all these people working on it. You got the original Shape Nick Castle coming back. You can't beat that. That's really cool. So if they let's just hope they don't drop the ball. I just hope it's got some of that real terror, some of that real slow burn horror like the original was. Um, that's great suspense. Let's hope they bring back that classic suspense that John Carpenter brought to the film. And Turner, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, we'll be waiting for you. So again, on what do you guys out there? What is your favorite Halloween film? Let me ask that. Out of the entire franchise, what's your favorite Halloween film? Adam Turner says, I don't really trust them, even their drama bombs. What was the drama that David Gordon Green directed? I think it was called Stronger. I haven't seen that one yet, actually. Well, we know that he's definitely worked on a lot of comedy stuff. Obviously, Danny McBride has done all comedy so far. Actually, he did have a little role in Alien Covenant recently. I haven't actually seen that yet, but from what I heard, it's a lot more serious take on the Alien franchise. But it's kind of got mixed reviews though. Turner says 1, 2, H2O, and Rob's films. 4 is okay. He did another one with Nick Cage. Oh, what movie was that? I actually dug Halloween 4 because they had Danielle Harris. I thought she was a real welcome addition to the franchise, and Donald Pleasance was great as always. He just brings that real gravitas into the role. I have to apologize to you guys. I'm a little under the weather today. I might have to take a couple sneeze breaks. uh, Here in Boston, we got a lot of snow, and we got it like almost 2 feet of snow. Yeah, so again, on Halloween 4 there, I don't actually think it was the greatest movie per se, but I think what's great about it is the performances. So Danielle Harris was awesome. Don Pleasant was awesome. Ellie Cornell was great. So that's what brings it above the standard slice and dice slasher flick to me. I think if it wasn't for those performances, the it would be a typical slasher film to me. But that's just my opinion. Can't remember. Adam Turner says Danielle Harris and Donald are legends, but I just can't watch The Mask from Halloween 4. Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that is the worst mask in the entire series. Just that pasty white. I hate that. It almost makes him unrecognizable as Michael Myers. That pasty white, no expression at all. I know the mask is known as having no expression, but there is a little bit of, you see some of the lines, you see a little bit of expression there. It's not just plain white blank slate there. There is a little bit more than that. It looks like Ross from Friends. I actually love Friends. It's one of my favorite shows. Yeah, I don't just love horror. I love comedy, science fiction. Uh, love superhero movies. Um, all that kind of stuff. Now, what about the Mask and Horror Halloween 5? Or how do you guys feel about Halloween 5? I know that's one of the most maligned in the series. Uh, I actually really enjoy Halloween 5. I'm kind of in the minority there. I get that they did try a little bit different. They took a few left turns in Halloween 5 that a lot of people weren't happy with. A lot of people wanted them to continue the way that Halloween 4 ended with, spoiler alert, Jamie Lloyd ended up getting the genes of Michael passed on to him. The evil was passed on to Jamie Lloyd, and she became the killer. She stabbed her stepmother, I believe. And you see her at the stairs at the end, with the knife and, and the clown costume looking ready to kill. And a lot of people felt that Halloween 5 should have continued that. That should have had Danielle Harris as the killer. And that would have been interesting, but I kind of rather have Michael as the main focus, the main villain. But maybe if she was also with him, even Danielle Harris said that it would have been cool if I was like his sidekick or something. It would have been cool if the evil is passed on. They were both killers. You got to watch out for two killers now. But let's see. You got Matthew Dwy. Hello, Matthew. How you doing? There is only one mask, H78. Yeah, you can't beat that Halloween 1978. That mask is top notch. It's terrifying. No one has been able to match that yet. I think that's some of the problem with the series as it goes on is they had to make it different every time. It's like, why they have to make it different every time? Why can't they just make it the way the original one was? The original, the series probably would have been even more successful because it's so terrifying to look at, especially when it's in the shadows, like in the original film. Like that one scene where when he comes out after Lloyd discovers the bodies of her friends in that room, and then you see that door opening behind him. It's all black, and you see his mask slowly come out, and then he stabs Lori in the back, and she goes over the stairwell. How terrifying is that scene when they see him walk downstairs? So thrilling, and you hear that music, da 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 do 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 do. So intense, so thrilling. Matthew doesn't seem to like prom night, huh? Which one? The old one or the original? I kind of like the original. I thought the beginning was real eerie and cool. How those kids were tormenting that young girl and she fell out the window and died. That's pretty freaky. The original. Adam Turner says the original. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it is kind of the typical slasher film, but certainly Jamie Lee Curtis is a big plus, and I also liked Leslie Nielsen in the role. I thought Leslie Nielsen was really cool. He added something different to it as well. Yeah, I love Leslie Nielsen, the dude from Naked Gun and Airplane. Love that guy. Leslie Nielsen did his share of horror and sci-fi. Of course, he did the Creep Show film, and he did I think it was called Forgotten Voyage, or a fantastic voyage, I believe it was, the that real old like 50s sci-fi classic. That was pretty cool too. Matthew Dice says the killer was so whack. Yeah, probably the killer could have been done better in Fright and Prom Night. Never did see the remake. I heard it was horrible though. Now, guys, I know you love Jamie Lee Curtis, but keep it PG over here. I love Jamie Lee though. She's to me, she's the ultimate final girl. Like she's just so likable, and you just don't want anything to happen to her. You want her to get away. You want her either you wanted to get away, or you wanted to kick Michael's ass. You wanted to do some damage. How about you guys? What do you think? Who's the best final girl in the slasher genre? Like I said, my favorite is Jamie Lee for sure. There's certainly got there's certainly several runners up though. You got I loved Ginny and Friday 13th Part Two. She was a real firecracker. And what are you talking about, Matthew? About the alien and the thing? Never thought of it that way. Killing me. Excuse me. Matthew Dye says, I want Lori dead. Well, you might get your wish in this new one. We'll see. It's a lot of fun, guys. I like this. As I said, bear with me. I'm just trying to get used to all this. I've never done anything like this before. It's a lot of fun, though. I figured I'd just try my hand at it. Do I get? Well, not anymore, Adam. I did my share back in the day, though, back in the college days. I was all dazed and confused at one point. But yeah, I'm happy to say I'm clean and sober for about almost 15 years now. Haven't drunk, haven't smoked cigarettes, anything in a long, long time. But I had my fun in the old days. Matthew Dye says his favorite final girl is Sally from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Definitely, I think she might be the first one you could consider a final girl. I think that's pretty much Texas Chainsaw Massacre established that. I believe. I mean, can't think of a movie before that where there was a final girl like Sally was. Yes, Sally was beautiful, no doubt about that. But what an amazing film. Texas Chainsaw's got to be one of the scariest movies ever made, no question. It's just terrifying. Barb Steel, yeah, classic. Barb Steel, that's the one from those Mario Bava movies, right? Like Black Sunday, that one was hammered into her face. That was pretty sick. British horror stuff, I love that. Big fan of like the Hammer films. Mario Bava also did a film called Bay of Blood, I believe, which many consider one of the first slasher films. Uh, had a lot of stuff that's very reminiscent of Friday the 13th. You know, I say Friday the 13th borrowed kind of heavily from that film. Yeah, the naked girl going skinny dipping and getting killed. And there was some serious gore effects too. Like one guy gets the either was a hatchet or right in his face, just like Friday 13 Part Two there. And the most obvious one that was used in Part Two was that the spear through that young couple when they're having sex that goes right through both of them and through the bed. Yeah, they ripped that right off. Uh, they made no bones about that. Mario Bava is amazing. Why other people come? Yeah, he sure is. Definitely one of the greats. A lot of those Italian movies, like the Giallos, were really responsible for the slasher genre. Like Dario Argento, some of the earlier Lucio Fulci films, like were very much like similar to like slasher with the gore and everything. Definitely love Lucio Fulci stuff, especially zombie films like The Beyond and Zombie and City of the Living Dead, classic stuff. Master of Gore, Lucio Fulci. Guys ever see the Italian movie slasher film called Stage Fright? Oh, that was pretty sick, huh? Matthew Dye says, I am so fucking hyped about Michael coming back. Michael is my all time favorite character. Adam Turner says he had the best zombie films. Yeah, Lucio Fulci, definitely up there as far as I'm concerned when it comes to the zombie films. Are amazing. Uh, I can't tell you how many times I've watched the film Zombie. How can you beat that? That splinter to the eye scene. I've never seen. I think that's been topped. Like that wooden splinter to the girl's eye, and the camera just doesn't turn away. And it's like, oh, So brutal. Oh, Christy in the house. Guess what, guys? My lovely wife, Christy Erschen, has joined the chat. This is a relative, Matthew Dye says. Yeah. How long until he really returns, though? Adam Turner says. October 19th. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly correct. Be there or be square. You better be in that theater. Love you, Christy. Thanks for joining us here. We're having a blast talking to Matthew Dye, Adam Turner, and Shelia. And we're talking about my favorite horror series, Halloween. Adam Turner says, a fistful of hair and a splinter to the mind. Adam said hi to Christy. I love it. Have fun, guys. Thank you, Christy. Love you. Yeah. The, the best, sorry, but the Dead trilogy rules. Yeah. George Romero. Can't deny how great those films were. Night of the Living Dead, of course, and Day of the Dead are three masterpieces. I've reviewed all those films. If you guys check it out, I reviewed all those films. Slipped off a little bit off track, I thought, though, after Day of the Dead, like Land of the Dead and all that stuff. I didn't care too much for, but those three are amazing, absolutely. Matthew Dye says hi, Christy. We are live at the Horror Corner. If you folks are just joining in, and yeah, we were talking about Halloween and then a little bit about the zombie films. Did my Ash vs. Evil Dead cherry the other day. Oh, I like Ash vs. Evil Dead. I've only seen a few episodes so far, so don't tell me, guys. Don't ruin it for me. I only saw maybe the first 3 episodes, I think. Which so Ash vs. Evil Dead just came out on Netflix a couple months ago. So yeah, I'm not quite caught up. Yep, and Turner, yes, that is really the wife. It's not a joke. Christy says, hi, Adam. Hi, Matt. Christy just made St. Patrick's Day dinner tonight, and it was unbelievable. Of course, her mom helped, and her parents helped, and it was absolutely delicious. Unbelievable corned beef and cabbage and carrots and potatoes, the whole 9 yards. Corner. So, Matthew, you mentioned George Romero. What's your favorite George Romero film? Would it be Night, Dawn, Day, or some other film that he made, like Creepshow? Or Creepshow is also awesome from George Romero. Did the Crazy? Did a couple other classics aside from the Dead trilogy, but those are certainly my favorite by far. But do you guys think Dawn was the best, or Night of the Living Dead? I feel Night of the Living Dead, I feel, was the scariest of the bunch, for sure. You get that real claustrophobic feeling in Night of the Living Dead where they're trapped in that house and the zombies are just outside the door pounding in it. The house is surrounded. You get that real claustrophobic feeling. especially when they're starting to get through. They see their arms slipping through the cracks in the window. Yeah, it's scary, and I love how they're trying to deal with it. Like they meet the people that are in the basement there, that father and son and the young girl that apparently got bit, and they're trying to take care of her. And the father is a real jerk. Him and the guy, I think his name is Dwayne Jones. I can't remember his name in the movie though. But they couldn't get along at all. Uh, it's a real clash there with them two. Because I am not good looking like Sean. Well, thank you, Christy. Why don't you both do a duo stream? That would be fun, wouldn't it? Oh, don't be silly, Christy. We are the worst here, old ghouls. Christy likes a little horror now and then. She's core like I am with it. She's like, "Oh, that's your thing. Go and have fun." But I try and get her to watch them all the time, though, and constantly like, "Come on, let's watch Dracula. Let's watch Halloween." She does like Halloween, though. I think that grew on her after a while. But she gets scared. She kind of gets excited sometimes. But we have fun with it. I told Christy we definitely need to be there on October 19th for the new Halloween. I'm pretty sure she'll be with me for that, hopefully. I'm holding out hope for that one. All right, Matthew Dwyer says night for the originality. Dawn is the best for me because of the concept. Day was the most gruesome. Yeah, I gotta agree with that. The special effects had moved on. I think Day set the precedent for the now zombie look. Yeah, yeah. And guess who worked on that as well? Greg Nicotero, who happens to work on The Walking Dead. He does his crew does the special effects work for that. And he's even directed a few episodes, I believe. But yeah, I gotta agree with that. I do feel Dawn is probably the best overall because you had the gruesome, nasty gore effects, and you had a great story and awesome performances, and all the characters are just fantastic in that film. And what I really found interesting too was the fact that that dude Flyboy's girlfriend was pregnant. So I found that really interesting that they're stuck in this mall, living in the zombie apocalypse, and she's pregnant. So it's that idea of wow, am I can I have a baby in this kind of environment where there's the living dead walking around? It's complete insanity, and that's what makes Dawn of the Dead very interesting. That's one of the most interesting aspects of it, I think. Plus, it's a real messed up look at society. The people at in the mall just wandering around. I like the one line the guy says, "This was an important place in their lives." It's like they're just doing what they used to do. They used to come to the mall a lot, so it's kind of that instinct that they had before this happened, before they died. Sean, so do you like practical magic? Christy says. Well, I've seen it enough times. I actually do enjoy it. It's a fun movie with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. Sean likes Practical Magic, the Sandra Bullock movie. Yeah, Christy made me do it, guys. All right, but I think it's fun. It's a cute little movie. It's not obviously it's not horror, but you got a little witchcraft there. But anything is better than that stupid one with Bette Midler. I can't stand. Hocus Pocus. No, I don't ever want to watch that again, Christy. It is a pretty solid film, Adam Turner says. Dawn was character and set driven, yeah, for sure. Amazing characters, definitely memorable. How about that scene with the guy in Dawn when he dies in the elevator and the door is open? And he's like, and you're wondering if he's gonna get out of it or not, but then he doesn't make it. When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. Classic line. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead is just amazing. LOL, not me showing you nieces and nephew. I never want to see it either. Talking about Hocus Pocus. So many people like to watch that on Halloween. It's like the last thing I want to watch. I want to watch Halloween all Halloween, or at least horror films. Just want to say for a second, horror gal, if you're out there, check that out. Are you jealous? Elvira, signed by the mistress of the dark herself, Cassandra Peterson, the one and only. I just gotta say that it was an honor and a privilege to meet her, and she was so funny and witty and just so awesome. So I was really happy to get that. Our gal's jealous. Is a big Elvira freak. Yeah, Matthew Dye says, yeah, the elevator scene is iconic. Absolutely, yeah. You see that on so many posters and so many promotional ads for Dawn of the Dead. That's such an awesome scene. Adam Turner says, I'm a 90s boy. Elvira is beautiful. A natural redhead, too. That's right. In case you didn't know, that's not a real hair. That big black beehive. Yeah, it's a wig. She's still beautiful, though. 90s, yeah, it was an interesting time in horror. It was definitely a lot different than the 80s had been. Christy says the 90s were the best. Well, 90s, he definitely had Scream, which was a great resurgence for the slasher genre. And I think, what do you guys think about Scream? 90s ruled, Christy. What if the new Halloween film is shit? Adam Turner says, well, who knows? That's possible. There's no guarantee it's going to be great, no matter who works on it. You say, yeah, people might say, yeah, John Carpenter is the executive producer again, but that's always in the back of my mind. Is he just there for a paycheck? Because I know in previously movies, he just was happy to collect the paycheck. So how involved is he? I don't know, but and then David Gordon Green and Danny McBride aren't exactly schooled in horror that we know of. We know Danny McBride said he is a big Halloween fan, but does that mean he can make a great Halloween movie? Who knows? Scream, no thanks. Too cheesy? You thought Scream was cheesy, Kirsty? I thought it was pretty good. I thought that opening scene is freaking fantastic with Joe Barrymore. That's one of my favorite scenes in horror. I'm not saying Scream is the greatest horror movie, but I think that opening is fantastic. 90s horror was pretty crappy. Matthew says Scream was all there was. Yeah, because you had Scream, and then you had I Know What You Did Last Summer, and all those type of movies that were just like Scream, including Halloween H2O. Halloween H2O is certainly influenced by Scream. And Scream, they watch Halloween in the movie too. It's kind of cool. Hopefully, it's not going to be wink, wink all the way too. Yeah, the last thing I saw about the new Halloween coming up is that Danny McBride said that we're going to acknowledge all the Halloween movies in some way. They're gonna ignore the events kind of, but I guess they're gonna do some kind of fan service here and there. I did see a picture of a dude dressed in the hospital paramedic gear, and it said his name was Bud. So that's a reference, obviously, to Halloween 2 right there. We might actually see Bud, the paramedic, in this movie. Matthew Dye says, "Come on, man, the '90s doesn't compare to the previous three generations of horror." Well, I'm not gonna hate on anybody because they like '90s horror. There was some good stuff, but yeah, me personally, I'm old school. I like anything going back from like the '50s, some even the '40s, the '60s, the '70s. Probably the '70s and the '80s are my two favorite decades for horror of all time. I just feel all the best horror films ever made were made in like the '70s and '80s. I mean, even in the '30s, you had those Universal horror movies like Frankenstein, Dracula. Those are all great. And '90s, you had the Child's Play and stuff. Child's Play started, I think, 1988, but it went on to the '90s. And it's still going. You had the Cult of Chucky and all that. Adam Turner says '40s, '50s, '60s, '70s, and it peaked in the '80s. Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I'm definitely old school. Like today's horror, I'm not really a huge fan of. Now and then there is a good one though. Gotta admit. Like I really enjoyed Sinister. I thought that was real scary. I enjoyed Don't Breathe. It was very good. I liked Your Next, and yeah, some of the home invasion ones like the Strangers, which they just came out with the new Strangers guys. Pray at Night, I believe. Adam Turner says, "Love Cult of Chucky." I haven't seen that one yet. Last one I saw was Seed of Chucky. That wasn't exactly the greatest. Cult of Adam. Remember Seed of Chucky with Method Man? How'd they get Method Man in? Remember that scene they were making fun of like Britney Spears, like she drives by in the car? There's a lot of silly stuff in those movies. Ah, Bride of Mr. Die. You guys have fun. Thanks for joining me. It's having a great time here. We're having a blast. I never liked Chucky or Hellraiser. I know I'm not a true horror fan. You don't like Hellraiser? Come on. I know the sequels are awful, but I love the original, the first two. You see back there, I got Hellraiser 2, the poster there. Hellbound Hellraiser 2. That's awesome. I think Hellbound Hellraiser 2 is one of the greatest sequels of all time of horror history. Y'all think we'll see Nick Castle's gigantic belly in the overalls? You might. Well, if you ever watched part 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, Michael had a little belly there. George Wilbur. Demons to some, angels to others. Yeah, I love those one-liners from Pinhead. I love the first two films. Definitely awesome horror to me, Hellraiser. It's brutal, it's vicious, and it's got that sadomasochism thing going on. Uh, where it's pleasure and pain, you know. I always thought that was really interesting, and what's really different about Hellraiser from all the other horror films. That's what stood out to me is the Cenobites will offer you pain or pleasure. To some people, Frank even said in the movie, I didn't care which. Matthew Dwyer says that new Strangers film doesn't look right. There's something off about the trailer. The first film stood up because of the mystery. Yeah, because you didn't know who the killers were. You didn't get any kind of revelation or anything. I mean, you saw them a little bit in the distance, but never really get a good look at them. Even when you did, there's you don't know who the hell they are. You know? That's one of the cool things about The Strangers. Why I thought it stood out from a lot of the other early 2000s films. You skipped my comment. I heard it's set in the 80s, The New Strangers. Yeah, well, I still want to check it out anyway. I still want to check out the new Stranger movie, see if it holds up with the original. The first film stood up because it stole from Halloween. Yeah, it certainly got aspects of Halloween in there. That slow burn once again, you know, that slow the build up of the tension was very much prevalent in The Strangers, I think. Some great performances there by Liv Tyler, right? I believe that's the name. Aerosmith's daughter there, Steve Tyler's daughter. Liv Tyler was in that. Well, she did a real good job. What did you guys think of Your Next? I thought that was a pretty killer home invasion slasher type movie. Man, that final girl in that was just like unstoppable, like a real badass, like way above and beyond like Laurie Strode or Ginny in Friday 13. She was just I don't know how she got those skills, but have you seen Vacancy? I think I saw it a while back. That's the one with Luke Wilson, right? When they're in the hotel or something. I don't remember too much about it though. Adam Turner said, I really did get scared when watching it in the cinema. Vacancy is another film. Your Next is okay. I have not heard of Vacancy, Christie said. I just remember Luke Wilson was in it. That's all I remember about it. Again, like I haven't seen too many of the newer horror films, but yeah, once in a while there is one that I like. Like I love Wolf Creek. You guys ever see Wolf Creek? I thought that was awesome. Like partially because it's loosely based on fact. You know, those are the really interesting ones. Vacancy was Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, that's right. Kate Beckinsale also in the Underworld films, which a lot of people love. I never really got into that. You know, similar to The Strangers, but voyeurism in a motel. Yeah, I remember that a little bit. Just want to thank you guys so much for hanging with me today. We're having a blast here. It's great. Hopefully, we can do this again down the line. Excuse me, guys. I'm a little under the weather today. Sorry about that. What do you guys? Do you guys into the Underworld movies or like the Resident Evil films? Or I really like the Resident Evil, but a lot of people don't like that. I thought they're a lot of fun, like especially like Resident Evil Apocalypse when you get Nemesis in there, and that was quite a battle. They're kind of crazy. They're definitely way over the top, but especially with the action and the kung fu stuff going on. I think Alice though is a real badass though, zombie killer. Adam Turner, well, Matt will hate me for this. Anyone climbing the walls for Rob's next film? Wahoo! F Underworld. Anyone climbing the walls for Rob's next film? Who? Rob who? Rob Zombie? I know Rob Zombie's making another Devil's Rejects movie. Did you guys hear that one? Are you excited for that? I'm not a huge Rob Zombie fan personally. I actually was a big fan of his music back in the day when he was with White Zombie. I'm a big White Zombie fan. But when it comes to his movies, I feel like he hasn't quite hit the mark yet. He might someday, but I definitely think Devil's Rejects is probably the closest he's come to making a real solid horror film. But even that, the writing wasn't all there. You know, there were some great characters though, like the sheriff guy, like how he was almost as crazy as the family. He actually was as crazy as the family. He killed the mother, uh, Mrs. Firefly. There. Sorry for swearing. That's all right. We all do it. Awesome Halloween. Here we go. Christy is a fan of the Rob Zombies Halloween even more than the original. I clown with it sometimes. I say that's grounds for divorce. Chrissy wants to be killed off. No, no, it's all right. You can like it. It's not that I don't like the remake. I think it's pretty good. It's the first one. I think is pretty good. It's not great. I still think it's really flawed. Like I think the acting is kind of cheesy, but there are it does have some good moments though. No, I didn't say it was the best one. So, do you think the original one is the best, Christy? Are you finally going to make that announcement? I'm dying to hear what she says. Rob Zombie isn't a director, Matthew Dwyer says. Oh. Christy says the original is the best. Of course. All right. I'm glad to hear that. You're damn right it is. No, Christy, it was blasphemy. I think over the years she has learned gotten some respect for the original. I think it has grown on her. Yeah, it's a masterpiece. John Carpenter's Halloween is my favorite movie of all time. Not even my favorite horror film. It's my favorite movie. I can't tell you how many times I watched it. I absolutely think it's a masterpiece of horror. Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, Christy. You just made my day. I hear you guys up there watching. I can hear from you. Totally, Sean. Totally. Yeah, that's what Adam Turner says. Yep. Come on, the original's got to be like this. I'll tell you right now, I'm a huge fan of Halloween 2, 1981. I watched that almost as much as the original, but it's because they kind of go together for me. It's almost like one movie where it takes place the same night. I'm not gonna sit here and say that 2 is better than the original, but I think it's a damn good follow. Being a 90s kid, Christy says it had a 90s vibe, and that's why I liked zombies. It was a goth before it was even a thing. Yeah, but Christy, that came out in 2007. Of course, yeah, Rob Zombies came out in the 90s with White Zombie and his music and all that. Rob Zombie's Halloween is bloody awful, Matthew Dye says. Terrible idea. Poor white trash as usual. Yeah. Certainly, Rob Zombie always seems to have that aspect in his films, that white trash type characters. That's my girl, Christy. Same here, dude. Where are you guys from? Well, we live in Massachusetts. Yeah, we got a lot of snow here. Maybe more on the way. So yeah, been a pretty rough winter, gotta say. That was a typo negative. I never got into the goth scene there, like Marilyn Manson, typo negative, like kind of vampire sound of music. I'm more of a heavy metal guy. Boston or Austin. All right, guys. I just wanted to tell you I'm gonna take a break for a second. I'll be right back, okay? But don't go anywhere. Don't leave home. I'll be right back, okay? I'll see you in a minute. Oh, so you guys get a better look at the background there. But I'll be right back, guys. Alright, guys, we're back. Sorry about that. Had to take a potty break. I'm back with you. Alright, don't go, Matthew says. I'm taking that Halloween pick on the left. That one there is pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, some people don't like Halloween 5, but that's definitely one of the best posters, I would say, don't you think? What's that crazy noise? Alright, guys, I was going to ask, what do you guys think about Friday the 13th or like Nightmare on Elm Street? Those franchises. I know that they've been trying to get a new Friday 13th off the ground for quite a while now, but it just never seems to happen. I'm also a big fan of Friday 13th franchise. I love the franchise. Especially the first two films I thought were damn scary. And I think Jason Voorhees is a great character. I love the first film with when we met Pamela Voorhees, played by Betsy Palmer. She did a fantastic job. I love the aspect of she's getting revenge on all the camp counselors because they weren't paying any attention while the young boy Jason drowned in the lake, Crystal Lake. Jason should have been watched every minute. But the counselors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy drowned. Thank you. Love them both dearly. Friday 5 is a comedy for that crazy bitch. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Nightmare 5, The Dream Child. I thought it pretty much went downhill on the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise after 4 around there. But the first 3 I do love. And I like New Nightmare, and I liked Freddy vs. Jason a lot too. Didn't care too much for the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. What do you guys think of that one? With Jake Earl Haley playing Freddy Krueger. Definitely Freddy's Dead is all comedy. When he's got the power glove and he's like, beep, beep, beep. Now you're playing with power. It became a video game. I'm like, are you serious? I definitely love Robert Englund though. To me, no one can play Freddy Krueger like that, like he did. Like Jack Earl Haley tries his best and he does a pretty good job, but nobody can compare to Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. He just owns that role. I wish he was playing it today. But I guess he said he's getting too old for it. Matthew Dye says Friday is a strange one. It has its moments spread over so many films. The first is dark because it has his mum. The first is dark because it has his mum. The second is his turn. Yeah. The third is the mask. The fourth is the story. Yeah, a lot of people think. A lot of people see Friday 13th, the final chapter, the fourth one, as the best. A lot of people I noticed think that. I enjoy it too. It did have some great moments, especially the end scene with Corey Feldman when he fakes Jason out and he shaves his head bald and has like strands of hair coming out. He's playing with Jason's mind, pretending to be Jason when he was a boy when he drowned back then. And Jason really responds to that. He kind of like freaks out a little bit, and he gets distracted, and that's when bam he hits him with the machete right in the side of the face, right through his eyeball, and his head slides down the machete. Oof, quite gory there. Awesome effects by Tom Savini. Adam Turner says, hated Jack Earl Haley. Robert will be back soon if the new Halloween does well. Oh, you think Robert will come back to the role? I would love that. Sounds good to me, man. Bring it on. I'll take Robert Englund all day as Freddy Krueger. Yeah, but I do think if the Halloween film does well, it probably will be a resurgence of the classic slasher films. Like, I bet you we will see Friday the 13th again and Nightmare on Elm Street again. I heard that Blumhouse is interested in Friday the 13th. The Blumhouse is making the new Halloween, and with all the chaos that went on with Friday the 13th franchise, with Paramount Studios is pretty much dismissing the Friday the 13th. They're just like washing their hands of it. They don't want anything to do with it anymore. So I think that would be a good call to have Blumhouse take over on that franchise. I'll bet my nards on it. Adam Turner says. Well, yeah, we all hope it's going to be successful. I'm sure it will be to some extent. I'm hoping that it's going to be a big smash, of course. Adam Turner says even Leprechaun has a new film from the OG series. I was just talking today about that because it was St. Patrick's Day. I asked one of my friends about Leprechaun. You ever see Leprechaun? I actually like those movies. I think they're funny as shit. Especially the one when he goes in space. Leprechaun running around in space. That was hilarious. Remember? And he grows like 100 feet tall, and he's running around the spaceship and shit. It's hilarious. Not Warwick Davis. No, I don't think Warwick Davis is actually going to play him in the new one. But he was great. He definitely did a great job with the character. Obviously, Leprechaun is a more comical film. Like I can't really take those too seriously because I don't think they're really meant to be. I think they're just meant to be funny. Like Leprechaun in the Hood. Come on, not the long iced tea. Leprechaun in the Hood too. I'm such a H. Matthew Dye says I'm such a H78 purist that I watched all the Fridays before all Halloweens because I didn't care what they did to Jason, but I hated what they did to Michael. That's interesting. Does that mean that you don't care as much about the Friday the 13th? You don't care what happens to Jason? Jason seems to die a lot more than Michael, I would say. He got it completely obliterated in Jason Goes to Hell. I think it was where he gets blown those smithereens. What'd you guys think about the Friday the 13th remake of 2009? Remember, by Dimension Films. I thought they handled the character of Jason well in the film. He was treated with a lot of respect, and I thought he was really scary. And I think Derek Mears did a great job. And I liked how they made him like a little more human, and that he had like real like survival skills. Like he really knew his way around the woods, and he had that underground like bunker going on where he kept the girls on the ground, locked in the cage and shit. Thought that was pretty interesting. But I hated the characters though. Like, oh my god, like just a bunch of stoner idiots, horrible acting. I just wish they could do a Friday the 13th movie with good acting, like and not just silly, cheesy, campy ass acting. Wish they could do like a real serious take on it. And I thought they got Jason real serious in the 2009 remake, except for but everything else wasn't. It was all silly and comedy. The only thing they took seriously was Jason. Matthew Dye says Jason is cool, but he ain't no Michael. Well, if there wasn't Halloween, there probably wouldn't be Jason. But yeah, Michael is the man for me as well. He's the fucking king, the king of the slashers. Well, that's another thing about it. If Blumhouse takes over the Friday 13th franchise, what if we got Michael versus Jason? So many people have wanted that. That could happen if Blumhouse takes over. That means they'll own the Friday 13th franchise and the Halloween franchise. So you could have Michael and Jason going at it. Imagine. That'd be awesome. I'll definitely be there for that one. A lot of fan films have been made like with that, Jason versus Michael Myers. Okay then, Sean, would you like to see a Jason versus Michael? Yeah, that's what I was talking about. You never know, guys. It could happen. Did you know that Clyde Barker and John Carpenter were going to make a Halloween versus Hellraiser movie? They talked about that in one of the documentaries I saw. And like both Clyde Barker and John Carpenter were interested in it. But for some reason it just never came to be. Adam Turner says, no, it would be a silent film. Well, the killers would be silent, but that doesn't mean that all the characters around them would be. There could be plenty of interaction from the characters in the film, like if they had a Laurie Strode type or a Danielle Harris type, the characters could do all the talking. Just like the original Halloween, Michael's silent, but you had Donald Pleasance explaining his background, explaining the evil of the character. You had such interesting characters in the movie, like Laurie Strode and Sheriff Brackett, and you had the goofy Linda, you had the promiscuous Annie. You had all these interesting characters that it's okay to have a silent killer. They could do the same thing with Michael versus Jason. I think as long as they did a good supporting cast and supporting characters, it could be interesting. Um, where they got when they had Freddy versus Jason, I think is the characters weren't so great. So, but you did have Freddy, who is the wisecracking character, and he does have a lot of dialogue, so he kind of carried that side of it, and that made it real fun and interesting because you had such a charismatic villain in Freddy Krueger going at it with the silent, deadly assassin killer, Jason. Matthew Dyer said that would be a proper fight. Yeah, I think so. That would be quite a battle. Who's stronger, Michael or Jason? Yeah, Jason may have had more kills than Michael, but that doesn't mean he's tougher. Plus, Michael's the original, mate. But did you know that Max Landis is directing a remake of American Werewolf in London? I did hear about that. I like Max Landis. He's pretty cool. I've seen him on some of the YouTube shows. I think that would be interesting. I mean, I mean, has he directed anything else though? I know he's real smart, talented, but I haven't seen him any movies that he's done. Uh, that's the thing, is he proven as a director? John Landis was definitely American Werewolf in London is a stone cold classic, no question about it. Awesome werewolf film. If you guys have never seen that out there, definitely gotta see American Werewolf in London. It's amazing, amazing humor, scary when it needs to be. The practical effects makeup on the werewolves themselves is awesome, and then of course that transformation scene is legendary. I love when you see his friend after he murders him as a werewolf. The friend keeps visiting him throughout the movie, and he's dead. He's like a ghost, like similar to Pet Cemetery or something. He's kind of like a zombie. But as you keep seeing him in the film, he keeps getting more and more decrepit and gross, and he's decaying. His corpse is decaying more and more as the movie goes on. It's funny though. I'm telling Sean. Never mind. Guys, would you say American Werewolf in London is the best werewolf movie of all time? My personal favorite is The Howling. Um, I love both. Both of them came out the same year, 1981. The Howling and American Werewolf in London. They're both masterpieces, in my opinion. Both, I think those are the two best werewolf movies ever made. The Howling and American Werewolf in London. But I just like The Howling a little bit better, because it's a little more serious than Werewolf in London, I would say. And I love Dee Wallace in the film. I love all the characters. I love John Carradine's character. Yeah, Dick Miller makes a nice cameo in there. You have a lot of cameos. I love the character of Marcia too, the nymphomaniac. She's real like freaky. She reminds me of Angelina Jolie, but she has some great lines in the movie. She's like this vixen, but she's also happens to be a werewolf. Thing is, Sean is my all-time favorite flick. A lot of films are great these days. Excuse me, but that's what the star on the wall is for. You're lying. And it's not the Howling had so much going on. You had a terrifying villain there with a Quist, the creepy serial killer dude, and then he turns into a werewolf, and that's an awesome transformation scene too. Awesome effects in both films, practical effects. Wolfman for me, the original, yeah, I love the Wolfman. That's awesome. I would put that right at number three as the Wolfman, and mainly for Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance in the film. I think is just I love it because you really sympathize. He's such a tragic character, Lawrence Talbot, and that's the way. And he just seems like a real good guy, but he's just stuck in this tragic circumstance that he can never get out of. He's going to be a werewolf for the rest of his life. Nothing he can do about it. At night, he's going to get out and kill. He wants to die throughout the movie. that's the other thing that's interesting is he wants to get caught, he wants to get killed, he wants someone to shoot him. That's why he chains himself in the room at night. He doesn't want to get out and kill people. Yeah, with this young woman, and that's another thing. He doesn't want to hurt her. He doesn't want her to know what's going on either. Love the Wolf Man, Legend of the Werewolf, The Howling, but an American Werewolf was great writing, romance, comedy, the greatest transformation scene ever. Yeah, yeah, you got a good point there. A lot of good points. It's hard to argue with that. Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna lie. But it's like the one that I watch the most is The Howling. I think. Oh, and Dog Soldiers. Yeah, that was a good one. What was that line? If the Virgin Mary herself shows up, I expect you to chin the bitch. That's classic. That had some pretty cool practical effects too. The werewolves I thought looked pretty cool. There's a lot of humor in that one. Definitely. I believe that was made by the guy, the same director of The Descent, which is also an excellent movie. Very scary film, The Descent. That's another one of the probably my favorites from the new millennium, the 2000s. The Descent was really well directed. And I love how the movie starts out one way with these women who are like hiking in the caves and stuff. Excuse me, but then it becomes sort of a monster movie halfway through. They find out that there's monsters in the caves, and it becomes a whole other movie. But both versions are scary because the women turn on each other throughout the movie, and it becomes and some of them get hurt and injured. One of them, I think, breaks their leg along the way, and or one of them gets trapped at one point in the rubble, and then the monsters get come into it, and they pick them off one by one, and it becomes kind of like a monster slasher thing. Awesome movie though, The Descent. Turner says Dog Soldiers is amazing. Yeah, it's definitely one of the best werewolf movies in a long time, probably since the 80s. Matthew Dye says the howling freaked me out as a kid because the sex scene was turning me on. For the transformation scared the hell out of me. Chris about that. It turned you on, dude. You got problems. How about Marcia's scene at the end there when they're at that coffee shop and the dude's grilling up the hamburgers and the guy's like, "How you like your steak, honey?" She goes, "Rare." That's so classic. That's the thing is Marcia actually survived the howling. What happened to her? Never know. I guess she wasn't in the horrible howling sequels. I don't even want to talk about that. The Howling as a franchise, I won't say is good. They're absolutely the worst sequels probably ever made. But Howling, the original movie, is great. Sequels, I try to forget. Somehow they suckered Christopher Lee into doing Howling 2. I don't know how they managed that. Christy says, how about Wicker Man? I love the Wicker Man. The original movie, of course, from 1973, starring Christopher Lee and Edward Woodward. Classic movie about the cult, you know that. Let's all make Winter Harley love. It will be cathartic. She was seriously sexy and scary, archetypical woman. Warning. Yeah, I think Matthew's talking about the Marsha character in The Howling. But yeah, did you guys see the Wicker Man, the original Wicker Man? What did you guys think of that? I think it's classic. Yeah, it's injecting again the weird sexual aspect of it too. It's like it's similar to like the Marilyn Manson, the Charles Manson cult of back in the day where they sang the weird folk songs, and there's some of that in there too. They sing those weird cult songs, about dirty sexual stuff, and the schools teach dirty, filthy sexual stuff, and the kids learn it, and they're all a bunch of freaks. Wicker Man was creepy as hell, man. I said, Howling franchise was soft porn. Yeah, it's just Howling franchise. I can't do it. Pretty much, yeah. Neon Maniacs. What was that? Never heard of that one, Adam. What's wrong with freaks, Christy says. Nothing, Christy. Nothing's wrong with him. We all got a little freak in us. Or as Norman Bates says, we all go a little mad sometimes. Some in other ways than others. 1950s Freaks, the movie. I've never saw that one. I've heard a lot about it. I just never had a chance to sit and watch that movie, though. Freaks. A lot of people consider that to be really freaky. Unintended. Not us, LOL. No, not us at all, Christy. We are normal people, right? Well, guys, again, I'm having such a good time tonight. I think this is pretty successful. I think I'm gonna try this again sometime down the road. This horror stream live. I think it's pretty cool. I'm having a blast. Sean, keep up the comments. We're way ahead of you. I'm trying, man. Haha, oh, he's getting tired. Oh, I didn't say I'm quitting yet. I'm just trying to thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for the support. I've been doing this hard channel for quite a while now, several years. Um, and I'm still really enjoying it. I think doing a live stream is another way of interacting with you guys, make it a little more interesting. Haven't you? Are you in the same house, Christy? Adam Turner asks. Haven't you? Nobody adds that bit except me. He is in the basement. I am in the upper level, Christy says. Yeah, they're up there. I believe, probably watching it on TV upstairs, while I'm down here in the basement. Don't go in the basement. Wasn't that a movie? Don't go in the basement. As one of the slashers. Adam's in my wardrobe. All right, I'm in Matt's wardrobe. What are you in the closet? Or are you wearing his clothes? What's going on over here? Are we Siamese twins or something? It's all true. The boogeyman is real. What's the boogeyman? As a matter of fact, that was. Don't make me bust out Dr. Loomis, guys. I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. I shot him 6 times. Adam is my Babadook. That was a good movie too, Babadook. That was pretty damn scary, I have to say. Adam Duke. Yeah, the Babadook was quite frightening, I must say. I think me and Christy watched that one night, and she was really scared too. I was pretty scared too. I had to admit. That was very well made. Adam Duke. Yeah, I know I'm a little bit behind on the comments, guys. I'm trying. As I said, I've never done this before. I've never even used a webcam on my computer before. That's Christie's film. She keeps it in the basement. Who's it? Would that be me? It's in the basement. To keep me locked up in chains. They have to release me like the Kraken in Pirates of the Caribbean. Release the Kraken! No. I know the Beetlejuice sequel will never come out. Adam Turner says. Yeah, I mean, they've been talking about that for years. I mean, come on. I mean, it's funny because Michael Keaton wants to do it, and so does Winona Ryder, but they just can't seem to get it going for some reason. But whatever, I'll live if they don't make another Beetlejuice movie. I do think Michael Keaton was great in that, though. I have to admit, I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but I think Michael Keaton was a riot. It was such a original character. Like, I'm not the biggest Tim Burton guy, but you can't deny how creative he is and his creative, unique style. It's just like, I don't know, it's not for me, really. Matthew Dye says Babadook was pretty good, actually scary. Yeah, it was. Thanks, Sean. Bro, it's a good time, Adam Turner said. Thanks all. Thank you. I have to say my favorite Tim Burton movie might surprise you guys. It's the movie Ed Wood with Johnny Depp. I thought that one was really interesting because it was about a real guy, Ed Wood, who's considered like the worst director of all time. He made Bride of the Atom and Plan 9 from Outer Space, and they're considered to be some of the worst movies ever made. But I just thought it was really interesting. This kooky guy who's like this cross dresser who also happens to be a movie director. It's weird. It's weird, but it's interesting how he created that friendship and bond with Bela Lugosi, who's such a legend in the annals of horror, and yet at that time he just didn't care about movies really. He just did anything for a buck. But somehow he bonded with Ed Wood and did it all his movies for like peanuts, and they were such bad movies. It's like how'd they get him to do it? This is like live Jasmine. Christy says, "Good night, guys. It was fun. Cella's almost gone." Well, thank you so much for joining us, Christy. Thanks for the support. I love you. I'll see you later. Night, night, Chrissy. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Matthew Dye says. Adam Turner says, "Good night, Christy." She says, "You too, fellas." Are you guys still with us, though? I'm not even sure how long I'm gonna go on with this. Maybe let's see. We started at 8 o'clock, maybe somewhere, maybe like 10 o'clock. So maybe another 15 minutes, guys. What do you think? Matthew Dye says my favorite Tim Burton flick is Sleepy Hollow. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was good too. Christina Ricci, Johnny Depp was great in that one. I did really enjoy Sleepy Hollow. That's one of Tim Burton's best, I would say. It told the story well, and it didn't have too much artsy, freaky stuff like Tim Burton tends to do. Yeah, it was pretty solid, and I really enjoyed Christina Ricci in it. And Johnny Depp played a very good Ichabod Crane. I think he nailed the character, and it was cool to see some of the, you know, genre veterans like Christopher Lee in there and Ian McDermott from the Star Wars movies. They had a lot of like classic old school actors. I kind of enjoyed that too, and it was cool seeing Christopher Christopher Walken as the headless horseman. Christopher Walken as a riot. Great film, Matt. Turner says, gotta say Edward Scissorhands or Beetlejuice. Yeah, Ed Scissorhands was a lot of fun. Excuse me. Now, Adam, I heard see your comments about Winona Ryder. Don't forget she's a shoplifter. She might steal for you. I always thought that was weird how she shoplifted and she's like got all this money. She was a big celebrity at that time. What do you need to shoplift for? Getting lewd in there, guys. Ed Wood is good, Adam Turner says. Yeah, see? Chris Walken as the Headless Horseman. Say no more. Exactly. Know what I'm saying? I think the guy who did all the like action scenes as the Headless Horseman was the guy who played Darth Maul in the Star Wars Phantom Menace. He did the action scenes like where Johnny Depp's fighting and he's swinging the sword at him and stuff. He was off his head in that. Yeah, Adam Turner says. It was pretty gruesome too when they show him chop everyone's head off. It's surprisingly gory. I think it was only was it R rated or was it PG-13? Sleepy Hollow. I think uh, I think Tim Burton did do a good job on Sleepy Hollow. Some of his stuff is a little too out there for me. Like I don't know, like what was it, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street? I didn't care for that too much. I really didn't care for the Alice in Wonderland movies, and then I don't think the audiences did too much either. It was probably his biggest bombs. Probably is the Alice in Wonderland, especially the last one, Through the Looking Glass or whatever it was. Adam Turner says, I'm currently on my first cycle of steroids. Gonna be big like Jason. Walk through trees. Are you guys tired? You're getting silly. Well, Kane Hodder sure was big, wasn't he? Big jacked up guy. It's funny how Jason got bigger and bigger and bigger as the movies went along. And unfortunately, the same thing happened with Michael Myers. They had to keep making him bigger and bigger, just like Jason. That's another thing I didn't like too much is like the Rob Zombie ones he made. They made Michael like Jason, like a big hulking monster. You know? Matthew Dye, you have to work out as well, mate. I'm built like Christian Bale in The Machinist. Wasn't he like 90 pounds in that? That was an awesome performance, by the way, Christian Bale and The Machinist. So, like, talk about a guy that's so dedicated to his role that he actually lost like 60 pounds or something. He was like, he looked like a crackhead in that movie by the end. And he just looks so unhealthy, you know. Big Fish was good. Did he do that? Yeah, Tim Burton did direct Big Fish, I believe. My father-in-law loves that movie. Adam Turner, I do work out, lol. I slam bitches against trees 24/7. Excuse me. Adam Turner, Big Fish, I love that flick. It was alright. Excuse me, guys. Oh, this weather's really getting me. Get a little tired, boys. I, Like I said, I am a little under the weather. It just hit me today pretty bad. I hope I don't have to call in work tomorrow. But what do you guys think about how they did that with Michael Myers? How that's one of the things I didn't like about Rob Zombie's Halloween. How they made him like Jason, and they made him have mommy issues like Jason. Michael never had before. That made him seem more and more like Jason, and that's the thing people always calling Jason. But and that makes it even worse when Rob Zombie took him and turned him into almost like a Jason type character. Michael's never like that before. Michael's not like anybody. Michael Myers is a truly unique character. And originally, I think Jason was too, even though the original make people that made Friday the 13th set out to rip off Halloween, because Halloween did so well. They make the same movie pretty much budget and make a lot of money, and that's exactly what they did. Matthew Dice says, okay, I mean, what horror do you want to see? You make a remake or sequel? Well, let's see. I want to see Things movie. I'm not Stranger Things. Uh, the Strangers as well. I do like that TV show. Let's talk John Carpenter. Adam Turner says. Well, certainly, I think John Carpenter is probably my favorite director. He just did a string of classics. I love obviously Halloween. I love The Thing. I love The Fog. I love Escape from New York. What a great character, Snake Plissken. That's classic, legendary. Uh, I love Christine, and it just has a string of like awesome movies like back to back for a long time there. I feel like he kind of after Christine is where he kind of drifted downhill, and I feel like he hasn't really since then he hasn't really made a great film. That's just my opinion. Some people like some of the stuff he did, like Prince of Darkness and Prince of Darkness. What else did he do? Oh, I really hate the Ghost of Mars. That's when I just like lost. All right, he said he's done now. Ghost of Mars was so bad with Ice Cube. I'll say another movie I want to see is the new Hellraiser. I've heard pretty good things about Hellraiser Judgment, I think it's called. I heard it was actually pretty decent, where the last few sequels have been like horrible. I also want to see they're supposed to make a Wolf Creek Part 3. Now I know that they've had the TV series Wolf Creek on Pop TV, which was really good as well. They still got John Jarrett to play that character, Mick Taylor, which I think was really cool. But I think they're supposed to make another movie too, Wolf Creek 3. We'll see what happens though. Adam Turner says, "How long have you been married, dude?" About 11 years. Come this May. Yeah, it's been quite a while. 11 great years, though. I gotta say, I'm a very, very happily married man. I love Christy so much, and we get along so amazing. It's just the greatest feeling when you have someone that cares about you so much, and you enjoy each other's company as much as we do. And we have so many things in common, and we're so patient with each other, and we really understand each other in pretty much every way. Matthew Dye says, "Yep, you only have to list his films. Say you left your mark, bro." I agree. Like all filmmakers, he had some stinkers. Yeah, even the best of them all have had stinkers. Even Alfred Hitchcock has had stinkers. You know. Matthew Dye says Halloween, Big Trouble in Little China. See, I didn't really get too into Big Trouble in Little China. I know a lot of people love it, and I get it. You know, like They Live, a lot of people love that one, and I'm not a huge fan of that either, really. But Escape from New York, definitely, that's awesome. I also had Donald Pleasance. The Fog, yeah, is great movie, love it. Jamie Lee Curtis is in that one too. Got Adrian Barbeau, who was in. It's funny how you use the last name actors like Tom Atkins is in Escape from New York. Then he was in Halloween 3. And Adrian Barbeau was in The Fog. Matthew Dye says, "Yeah, I don't like They Live." Adam says, "Zombie makes the hateable lovable, hard to achieve when gun rape is involved." Matthew Dye, Elvis is first with Kurt Russell. That's right. Isn't that weird that he made a Elvis movie? Kurt Russell actually did a pretty good job as Elvis, though. Did you also know that Dick Warlock, who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2, was Kurt Russell's stunt double in like Escape from New York and The Thing? So that's a pretty cool connection there. Dick Warlock was a great Michael Myers, I thought. Snake effing Plissken, you bet your ass. Not sure about Escape from LA though. I don't know what happened there. That was pretty bad. Very campy. I was seriously disappointed with Escape from LA because it was still directed by John Carpenter. So he came back full on in this movie and he just dropped the ball big time, I thought. So cheesy when you see Snake Plissken like surfing and shit. Like, come on. You're ruining a great character that you created. Assault on Precinct 13, right now. That was a good one. What'd you guys think of Escape from LA? Again, I think that's when John Carpenter just like fell off the rails for a while. You know? He hasn't really recovered since. Matthew died due to all the Halloween hype. I'm finding out more about the original cast, etc. I didn't recognize Tommy Lee Wallace or Nick Castle as filmmakers. Yeah, well, Tommy Lee Wallace directed Halloween 3, and Nick Castle directed The Last Starfighter, among. I actually looked up his Nick Castle's filmography. He's directed quite a few. Some like pretty big ones with like big stars, but they were like romantic comedies and family movies and stuff. Matthew dis- Matthew Dice says Escape from LA was truly horrible. Yeah, can't forgive that one, John. Come on. That's what sucked is that there'll probably never be another Escape from New York unless it's a remake because he blew LA so bad. Yeah, Nick made Dennis the Menace. That's right. That's weird that Michael Myers made Dennis the Menace. That's what I mean. I don't know. I didn't know they did the films they did. Matthew Dice says, yeah, it's interesting though. Did you know that Tommy Lee Wallace played Michael Myers in the original Halloween? And during that scene in the closet where he attacks Laurie and like smashes through the door. That's a great scene. That's actually Tommy Lee Wallace as Michael Myers. And Turner White Zombie did the soundtrack. Yeah, see, I love White Zombie, but I'm not a huge Rob Zombie fan as a filmmaker. I went to see White Zombie live in 1992, the year they came out with Las Sexorcisto, and I saw them in New York, which was their home base at the time. New York is where they really flourished, even though Rob Zombie's like from New Hampshire, I believe. White Zombie as a band got big in New York City. He did the closet and the still. He did the stair scene too. Oh, that was awesome. You mean that part when he's like, "You can't kill the boogeyman," and he shows up behind them walking up the stairs. What did you guys think of what was it, John Carpenter's Vampires? Yeah, that was another one I didn't care much for either. So yeah, I'd say after Christine, that's it for me with John Carpenter. That was like his last great movie. Did Rob Zombie and Eli Roth wait, Rob Zombie and Eli Roth don't make my kind of film. Well, Eli Roth, I enjoyed Cabin Fever a lot. I thought that was funny and gory, and it was just a good time. I really enjoyed Cabin Fever, actually. It's different, but I enjoy it. I think it's funny as hell. It's kind of weird. It's so gory, and it is gross. Like some of the scenes make you cringe, like from the gore aspect of it. But and Hostel as well. Like Hostel starts off as like a Euro trip type movie or like one of those silly like 90s comedies, like gross out movies like American Pie. Yeah, like American Pie. That's how Hostel starts off as like, but then it becomes real dark and it goes 180-degree turn to a real dark and grisly torture film. I think that's what makes it interesting, though. And then, of course, Hostel 2 was almost like the same movie, though, except they switched it to the girls being the bad guys, you know. Adam Turner says, not down with Eli. Probably the one of the top horror directors today, though, most famous at the moment. Tobe Hooper is legendary, that's for sure. Very sad we lost Tobe Hooper. Rest in peace, Tobe Hooper, one of my favorites. I absolutely love Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I also love Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part Two, which is Sometimes I feel unfairly maligned, but I think part two is just awesome. Like again, that's one of my favorite horror sequels of all time. Just part two. But I think it gets a bad rap sometimes because it injects a lot of comedy. Like it's definitely black comedy in the most black sense of the word. Extremely twisted and demented black comedy. I find Matthew Dye says I find their crass, crude, lazy filmmaking really boring. I just don't get Hostel and Saw. Yeah, well, there was that long period there where all the horror movies were like that torture porn. People getting tortured and mutilated, and real like sick stuff. Yeah, like Saw with the elaborate traps and people getting mangled and mutilated. Over the top tripe man enjoyed knock though. I didn't know Tobe Hooper died. Yeah, TCM is a masterpiece. Absolutely. He did some other interesting movies too, like Life Force. It was a wild science fiction movie, science fiction horror, I should say. The space vampires, and of course the Fun House. That was a great movie. That was a real fun 80s flick, kind of a slasher, kind of a fun house like freaky movie. Matthew Dye says I liked Life Force back in the day. Yeah. Adam Turner says so jealous he saw White Zombie. Yeah, that Toby and Craven passed. Yeah, I saw White Zombie a few times. I saw him with Pantera back in the day too, and I saw him at a club in Fort Lauderdale called The Edge. Yeah, I saw him several times. I saw Rob Zombie solo a couple times. Yeah, that's real sad. He lost Tobe Hooper, Wes Craven, and George Romero in like a span of a year. It was rough going for a while there. Lost three great legends of horror. Of course, Tobe Hooper directed Salem's Lot, which is one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. And he also directed Poltergeist, which is another classic. So yeah, Tobe Hooper's got to be one of the great horror directors. All the masters are dead except Clyde Barker. Clyde Barker as a director, though, I don't think is as well established as the other guys. He directed the original Hellraiser, but certainly as an author, he's a legend, no question about it. What else did he direct? I think he directed Lord of Illusions, which is pretty interesting. It was kind of out there though, but he hasn't had like a string of classics like the other guys. As far as him as a director, Carpenter will go after this Halloween. Wow, you calling it high? You calling Carpenter's death? Are you gonna do a Deadpool? You guys see Deadpool? It's a great movie. Love John Carpenter's Vampires. Adam said a favorite of mine. Yeah, some people really like it, but I don't know. It wasn't one of my favorites. Adam Turner, all the masters are dead except Clive Barker. Matthew Dye said Carpenter will go into Halloween. Adam Turner, Matt, don't say that shit. Yeah, come on, man. I mean, he is getting up there, though. Somebody always dies after a Rob Zombie movie too. It's all Rob Zombie's fault. Get the feeling this will be Sid Haig's last one too. Well, yeah, the new Devil's Rejects. It's only fitting, as you said, Sean, his best days are past him. He's made the classics. Yeah, he doesn't need to do anything more. He already made several stone cold masterpieces. I mean, what else does he need to do? He's already proven himself. He doesn't need to do anything else. And Turner says agreed. It's like the band. It's like in music too. You get a band like Slayer and Metallica. I'm a big heavy metal fan. You get bands like that have made absolute strings of masterpieces. Like Metallica made Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets. Yeah, you may not like some of the new stuff, but they made several masterpieces. They don't need to do anything else. Like Slayer made Rain and Blood, they made Hell Awaits, they made South of Heaven, Season the Abyss, string of masterpieces. They don't need to do anything more. To say what you will about their more recent albums, but they've made albums that are absolutely legendary. Where's the next generation? I don't know. Say the next generation is like the movie You're Next and uh, what was that one? Don't Breathe. That was a really good one. Data like the future, I think. And that one scary one I saw recently. It was very John Carpenter esque. Uh, Help me out, guys. What was that movie? It was like a real slow burn, and it felt so much like a Halloween type or a John Carpenter type film. It was kind of about people like ghosts coming back from the dead to get people like following them around. Oh, it follows. Yes, I finally thought of it. Movies like that, it follows. That was really good. I think stuff like that is like future horror, even though it's influenced highly by movies of the past. But when you think about it, it's all been done. Yeah, it's just a matter of coming up with new ways to do the same old thing. Because everything's been done. They've been making horror films since the 20s, folks. I mean, it's all been done. It's just a matter of making it new and interesting again. Finding new and more creative ways to do the same old thing. There ain't none, bro. The dude made it. It follows has potential. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I thought that was really good, and it was scary. It got me a couple of times. Matthew Dye. Actually, I should have said, where was the previous generation and where is the next? Those guys are older than my mom. Well, I think the slasher genre is about to make another boom with Halloween, so we might see that come back into play. And you'll have more 80s style, 70s style horror flicks like that. Happy Death Day tried to be like an 80s type slasher. Yeah, there's a guy that might make a decent film or two, but the aforementioned names were true creatives. Yeah, of course. You're never gonna get more creative than George Romero or Toby Hooper or Wes Craven. Wes Craven, another guy that's made a string of classics. Like I said, he's another guy that some of his later films were heavily maligned, but he made Nightmare on Elm Street. He made The Hills Have Eyes. He made The Last House on the Left. He made masterpieces. You know? He didn't need to do any more. Those are freaking legendary. I'm embarrassed to say I never saw The Hills Have Eyes till like last year, and I was blown away. I was like, "This movie is awesome. I love it." Brutal, kind of like The Last House on the Left was, but I thought it was even better, like more entertaining. Where Last House on the Left is kind of hard to watch because it's so gruesome and so sick, and almost like too realistic. Matthew Dye. Yes, there's a guy that might. Wait, Ann Turner says they are all gone. We have tribute directors now, cheap knockoffs. Shout out for the Slayer. Slayer! Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, they're out doing tributes to the original legendary directors. Yeah, kind of. But I mean, what else are they gonna do at this point? Like I said, we've seen it all. I like the remakes. See, that's another thing. Is not so many remakes now. It's like I don't like remakes. I wish they would stop making remakes and prequels, and it's all been done and it's been done better. They're not going to make it any better. What is the point except making it more modern? That's the only reason you have to make it. Because that's more modern. It's nowadays. I saw something the other day that was like a movie that they're remaking a movie from like 2012 or something. I'm like, wow, you even remaking movies that were made 10 years ago? Not even 10 years ago. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm just done with remakes. You know what I mean? I don't like and like prequels. I just don't find it interesting at all. Like I don't get prequels. It's like if that mattered so much, they would have just told the whole story in the original movie. Why do I need to find out what happened before the movie? Yeah, they should leave some things to mysterious. Like recently, they did the Rogue One Star Wars movie. There, the prequel to the events of A New Hope, and like, what was the point of that? Oh, so we needed to find out how they stole the plans. You know, why? Why do we need to know all that? Me too, LOL. Me too, dude. Don't like the remix, The Thing, 1982, The Fly, 1986, Invasion of the Spy Snatchers. Yeah, well, of course there are exceptions. I'm not gonna say there's never been a good remake. Those are kind of the few exceptions, and there aren't many exceptions. But yeah, you made a good point there. Those are great remakes, definitely. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I actually like. It's one of the very rare instances where I actually like the remake better than the original. That's Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1978 was awesome. It was so scary. much scarier than the original. I think. And the effects were really awesome too. It's quite grisly at times. Uh, awesome acting. I love Donald Sutherland's performance. Awesome movie. And the Thing, what can you say more about that? Phenomenal. Definitely one of the best sci-fi horror films ever. Like best sci-fi horror crossover. Adam Turner says, "I'm personally just happy we get them to watch still." Yeah, good point. But then again, those were remakes that were made 30 years ago. 35 years ago. I'm talking about like today's remakes are just like hack jobs. They're no way near as good as the original. Back then, they actually could make a good remake. They actually cared about it. These people just want to make money. Seems like a lot of time, just cashing in on the name of a classic franchise like Nightmare on Elm Street or one of those classic '80s films. I just realized, guys, we went way over the time that I said it would. It's like 10:30 almost. So, guys, I'll set a time 10:30. I'm gonna have to probably start heading to bed. I'm definitely getting tired. I know I'm a wuss bag, but I got work in the morning, unfortunately, so I gotta start preparing for the dread of that. I gotta get my ass up in the morning to get to work, even though I don't feel very good. Matthew Dye says they should remake Halloween. Make Michael 20 feet tall, give a poor white trash backstory, have 20-foot tall. Didn't they do that? I sense your sarcasm there. So, guys, probably about 10:30. I'm gonna call it. Okay, hang around for a few more minutes. But I'd have to say, all in all, this was a pretty successful run. I hope you guys do join me again. Right then, bedtime. Peace. Cheers, Sean. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for joining me in the horror corner. So yeah, guys, I've had a real fun time. Uh, thank you for joining us, Christy. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Shelia and Adam Turner, of course. Thank you all for joining us at the Horror Corner. This was a lot of fun, and I definitely look forward to doing this again sometime soon. And so this is your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, signing off at the Horror Corner. And I'll see you soon in some future videos, guys. So tune in and, of course, stay scared. Signing off, guys. Good night. Have a good one. Peace out.